Hey everybody, Sam Kavaris in the Nimnicht Buick GMC video sports update. It's an interesting week for the Jaguars because obviously the cuts are coming up after the Detroit game, and Gus Bradley even admitted that guys can in fact make this team by playing well against the Lions Friday night. It's a lot about special teams though, and he told me during the taping of the Gus Bradley show that, look, if you watch special teams, you're going to see guys who are going to fill those last roster spots and be on an NFL team come the first week of the regular season. They do have still some questions, obviously, for the starting 22, particularly in the interior of the offensive line, where Jacques McClendon will start at center, and they'll use Brandon Lindner at guard. You know, it doesn't mean Mike Brewster or Luke Bowanko is out of the mix, but they're trying to find the right combination in there with Luke Jokel and Zane Beadles, and then at this point Cameron Bradfield at right tackle, because even though Austin Pastors did have surgery on his broken hand, they do not have a return date for him yet. So they're still working with a somewhat makeshift offensive line. Maybe not the right thing to do going into a game that has Ndamukong Suh in the interior of the defensive line, but we'll see how they handle that. Toby Gerhart will play again. Cecil Shorts will play. Defensively, we'll see probably, Dakota Watson probably will get some time at what they call this Leo position, which is a guy who can play with his hand down and rush the passer, but it can also drop into coverage. And, we'll see the defense pretty much intact the way that they hope to play it, with Posluszny in the middle once again after stepping out of the game last week against Chicago with that arm contusion, just to get better. And the quarterback situation is going to be Chad Henne for about a quarter and a half. He had a good rhythm and a good flow last week, particularly in the up-tempo offense. And then after that, you'll see Blake Bortles, who will play about a quarter and maybe 30 plays. We're not sure exactly how that'll be, but he'll also get a chance to play with the first team and see what kind of rhythm he creates. He admitted to us this week that it was the speed that kind of surprised him when he stepped in there with the first team during practice. So all in all, an interesting and a fun week, and the Jaguars have to cut down next week, and then the following week get down to that 53-man roster. So remember, at this point on the roster, there will be guys coming and going because other teams are going to cut players that the Jaguars have had their eyes on, and we'll see who else shows up in the Jaguar uniform before they play that first game coming up the week after Labor Day. By the way, it's been a fun week for that Ice Bucket Challenge, and you may have seen where I had the opportunity to do that with my friend Matt Robinson. I would encourage you all to donate money to ALS. As my friend Rick Murray always said, look, we don't get a whole lot of attention because it doesn't affect a lot of people, but it is a terrible and insidious disease, and whether you take the Ice Bucket Challenge or not, I would encourage you to donate, if not to ALS, to the charity of your choice. I'm Sam Kavaris, and that's the Buick GMC Video Sports Update.